right, brother. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
So I met you at F45.
Yeah.
And you're still a coach there.
Yep.
But you're going on to something else. You're doing something else.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. Now you have a pretty interesting story.
Yeah.
I have a bad habit of reading about 50-60% of a book and then not finishing it. I've got like 10 of them in my house.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. So this is very good. I did read probably 50% of your book, 60%. So let's talk about that for a second. You are getting into, what do you call it? Motivational speaking? What exactly is it?
Before or after the book?
Well, you tell me.
Yeah. So just to kind of preface, I spent the early years of my life. I was a stellar athlete. I was a baseball player.
Baseball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
what position?
I was a catcher.
Okay.
I was a catcher.
And you did that in high school?
I did in high school.
Prior to high school, all growing up, you did baseball.
Yep, all the way through college.
Where was this? Where did you grow up?
Central Florida,
like
Orlando area.
Oh, that's right.
I
grew up there. Dr. Phillips.
Oh, right up the road.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit further south, closer to Osceola County.
Okay.
But not far from the Metro West Dr. Phillips area. Yeah. Spent a lot of years hanging around that area.
Oh yeah, that's my old stomping grounds.
Yeah, man. Dr. Phillips was always good, by the way, at baseball. And as a matter of fact,
Johnny Damon was.
Yeah,
he was there. I guess there's some other baseball players. I don't know who they were, but Brian Barber. I don't know if he went in the pros or not, but grew up with those guys. They were a couple years younger than me.
Yeah,
one year younger than me.
The shortstop / second baseman in the years that I was in high school that played for Dr. Phillips is now the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
Yeah. So who I played baseball with.
Danny Maselli. He was a year ahead of me. He was mostly, I think it was the Pirates, but he was a pitcher. He was a big, strong boy, and he could throw real fast.
Yeah. There's some good athletes coming out there. They're always
good baseball program there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I was from Orlando, traveled all across the country, spent lots of time on the road, playing very competitively, team one, perfect game, etc. It was my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, that was my identity. I was a ball player. And so I went to college on a full scholarship, and a whole new world opened up to me. I had spent my former years very disciplined, just playing ball, traveling all the time, never dibble-dabbled into anything.
You were on a straight and narrow with baseball. Kept you out of trouble.
Very. Yeah, very much so.
Then you got a little freedom.
And the rest was history. So, a whole new world opened up to me in college, and I made some really bad decisions, and I ended up losing my scholarship and dropping out of school. Directly thereafter, I spent the following better part of a decade in the proverbial black hole of
10 years.
Almost,
really?
Yeah, almost
really?
eight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
8-year tenure in substance abuse, in and out of jail.
Really? I didn't. It's interesting. I didn't know any of that until I read your book.
Yeah.
You kind of kept. I don't know if you kept it quiet. I don't know if you were shy about it, but it's not the first thing you say. Hey, I used to do this.
Yeah.
It's not something I totally understand.
Yeah.
Not doing, but I didn't know any of that until I read your book. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah,
some interesting stuff. Some of our common friends, I go, did you know this about Daniel? And they're like, no, I had no clue.
Yeah.
So,
and you make a good point, because it was very intentional. Once I moved on from that season of my life, as a part of distancing myself from that character, I just didn't give life to any of it. I didn't talk about it. I didn't frequent circles where people had the same types of issues. As a part of my reinvention, I literally put as much distance between myself and that person as I possibly could.
Did you break those habits on your own, or did you get help?
I got help.
You got help?
Yeah, okay. I got help. I tried it on my own several times, and fell flat on my face each time. And it took me 3 attempts with assistance to get it right.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I landed in Sarasota, Mark.
Okay.
So the last time I got in trouble, went in front of a judge and begged for help and said, hey, look, one thing that I've never done is really focused on trying to get some serious help and putting my head down and digging in. And the last time that I got in trouble, I knew I was done. I was almost 30.
Okay.
All of the things that I wanted to achieve in my life, the desires, the aspirations, the ambitions that I had, I knew I would never attain any of it if I kept doing what I was doing.
Yeah, you're circling the toilet drain.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
slept out of your truck.
So I slept out of my truck. Yeah. So I slept off the streets.
You were homeless?
I was homeless for several years.
Nah,
willingly.
Sorry, I don't mean to bring up
That's
that.
okay.
But what would you do? Just like sleep in the bushes? What would you do?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Camille's over there
That's
laughing.
a good question.
Well, because she and I have these conversations. Like, where do you think these? Like, do they sleep in the bushes? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. So.
And I'm not making fun of anyone homeless.
No,
so
no, it's no problem,
yeah.
and I can laugh about it now. But yeah, anywhere really.
Yeah.
I would sleep on cardboard boxes behind
Really?
dumpsters.
No kidding.
And the most tragic thing about it is it was willing. I was a willing homeless person.
You were okay with it.
I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Because
which is really, I mean, and that's a big sign of an issue. I mean, I'm no therapist, psychologist, whatever. When you become okay with something like that, that's a real big issue because then you stay there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't have much of a desire to get out of that.
No, for several years I didn't. In fact, I thought for several years that was my destiny, that I would likely die an addict, and you're mentally ill.
Yeah.
Your brain is sick when you're abusing substances, especially the type of substances that I was abusing, which were very hard substances. And so you're not thinking rationally. And so yeah, I would sleep anywhere I could.
Yeah.
Sometimes I couch surfed, sometimes, but I burned a lot of bridges and hurt a lot of people in those years. And, so eventually it got to the point where I was sleeping outside. So pretty.
And then you got some help, and then you broke those habits, and you got on your feet.
Yeah. So the last time I got in trouble, I got picked up for violating my probation. I knew I was done, and so I went in front of my judge and said, "Look," he said, I was facing 5 years, and he told me, "I'll give you one chance to get this right." Because I said, "Look, I just need an opportunity. I'm not coming back. You will never see me again. Give me one chance." And he agreed. And he gave me that one chance.
That's good.
And that one chance changed my entire life.
Interesting.
I never went back there. As a matter of fact, I did go back there vicariously through my mother to give him a copy of my book.
Oh, how did they respond to that?
To that judge, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I can't speak on her behalf. But from what I understand,
that must make her feel really good. You would think, right? Yeah. And that's an awesome story.
Yeah. It is a neat story. And so just to rewind a little bit. So I asked for help. I told him exactly where I wanted to go. I had made an attempt formerly at the Harvest House here in Sarasota, which is a faith-based organization that helps a wide range of people, from homeless veterans to substance abusers to single mothers. Tremendous organization. And so I came here to the Harvest House, and it was a 9-month inpatient program.
Okay.
And I went through it and put my head down and focused on the things that I needed to focus on.
So you just spent 9 months getting clean, essentially, and breaking bad habits and developing good habits.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. The early months, the initial 9 months were really learning who I was again, because I didn't know who I was. Especially when you spend that long in that arena, you lose sight of who you even are.
Yeah.
What is your character? What do you represent? What do you believe or not believe? Or, there's just
lost. You're totally lost.
Totally lost.
You're like, who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to relearn who I was again and start laying some roots, a foundation, if you will, for the person that I wanted to become.
So you made a decision, like, I want to be this guy, and this is how I'm going to get there.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was a decision. It's not like, okay, this is who I am. This is who I choose to be.
It was exactly right. Yep. I put some forethought. Clearly, I had some time in my hands because I was in jail before I got sent here. Not for long, but for a very short time. I literally spent countless hours illustrating who I really wanted to be. And at that time, it felt impossible. But I didn't care. I literally had to put something that would give me a frame of reference, a guide, if you will, to be able to bounce what I was doing, the things that I was learning, the people that I was listening to, what I was watching, educating, how I was educating myself. All of those things had to be in alignment with that avatar. So the next 9 months, I literally bounced everything off of that ideal character. And in the process, I began to rebuild the Daniel Crain that you see sitting before you. Because God's honest truth, I shouldn't even be sitting here. I had.
What does that mean exactly? You should be dead, or
I should be dead.
okay?
I should. There's a very good likelihood that there was. I'm a spiritual person, so I believe there's a hedge of protection around me. But I mean, at any moment, I could have lost my life.
Sure.
Especially in the latter years, that's when fentanyl really started to hit the scene, and it became very dangerous game of Russian roulette. Luckily,
because they mix the drugs with fentanyl, and then if you like, from what I understand, just a little bit can kill you,
instantly.
Yeah, wow.
Yep. Insta second.
So it could have been over anyway.
It could have been over. Yeah, it could have been over.
Wow.
And I got out right when that stuff hit the scene. And of course, as you all know, it's it's an epidemic these days. Fentanyl, carfentanil, all that stuff. So, a sad state of affairs.
I'm sorry to interrupt. How long ago was that when you got out of that program? How long ago was that?
I was 30.
And how old are you now?
And now I'm 38.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about 8
years of being a good boy.
Yeah, 8 years of being a good boy. Yeah, 8 years of reinvention. Yeah, and it's interesting that you asked that question, because I was just having a chat with my fiance about this, that I lost 10 years, so the things that I'm going through in life right now, the things that I'm accomplishing, and the things that I'm doing are things that I would have been doing 10 years ago.
Sure.
So it's almost as if spiritually I'm 28.
Yeah.
I'm taking back the years that I lost.
Sure. Now, let me ask you this, though. Knowing in your head, you said you lost 10 years. Doesn't that provide an amazing amount of motivation to work hard? I don't know if you have this time clock in your head going, I got to get to work. Because you feel like you lost 10 years.
Yeah.
Does that give you a lot of motivation, thinking, okay, I got to catch up?
Yeah.
Does that?
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
What a massive point that you just made. Yes. Overwhelming sense of urgency. Overwhelming. For a variety of reasons, but fast forward to today, now I have a family, and there's a lot more on the line now. But gosh, yes. Oh yeah. There's definitely a sense of urgency that it's really almost hard to articulate.
So there's a silver lining to this whole story. I mean, you want to look at the positives of things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't wish that happened, of course, but you can take from it, like, I'm a new man and I've got a lot of motivation and I'm going to do a lot of great things. Because 38, you're still very young. You're still very young. You have a long way to go. You have a lot of years ahead of you. So I'm not saying this was a blessing, but you should look at it in a sense like, hey, this, I'm going to make the best of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do.
Yeah.
That strategic shift in mindset is what really changed the game for me. A lot of people will go through something like that and feel that it is of detriment to them, that it's something that will hold them back.
It's funny because it's almost like they're carrying a weight.
Yes,
they're like pulling a big. And so here's the thing, like, I don't how people handle a prior addiction, substance abuse, whatever. That's their business. It's not my business. But I've noticed some people will always say, they almost bring it up in every conversation, like, I'm sober, I'm a recovering addict, I'm a recovering alcoholic. That's their identity, and that's great. If that helps them, that's great. And then there's other people is like, that's not who I'm gonna identify as.
Yeah.
And if I was one of those, I'd probably pick this one. And I'm not saying either one's right or wrong. All I'm saying is sometimes people, it's almost like they like carrying that, because I have family members that had problems with alcohol and drugs. And it's like they almost they want to bring it up, it seems like, in every conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I wouldn't be like that.
No,
You're not like that.
I'm not like that.
And that's a choice, right?
That is a choice. And I
Yeah.
know many people who are like that,
Yeah.
and it works for them.
Sure.
It works for them. For me, there's a few different reasons that I have for it. Um, Probably the top of that list would be the spoken word. When you claim that you're a recovering addict, you're claiming that you're an addict.
Yeah. It's almost like, and that's your identity for the rest of your life.
Yes. Yeah.
And seems to me like that is a big weight that you're pulling around all the time.
Yeah.
You know, a big bag of something heavy that's on your shoulders. And I don't know. I mean, again, I have no experience in this stuff and I'm not an expert by any means, but it's like, it's almost like they're proud of that identity.
Yeah.
To some degree. And I'm basing this mostly off of a family member.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. I mean, I know a large variety of people that have kind of traveled that road, and some subscribe to that way of living, and very few others don't.
Yeah.
And we can look, through all kinds of individuals who have attained massive levels of achievement that have walked the same road
Sure.
and decided not to associate with that person. Now, that's not to say that we pretend like it didn't exist, because I leverage those experiences.
You're using it as motivation.
I use it, absolutely.
And let me ask you this: do you think you'd be as motivated if you hadn't done any of that stuff?
That's a really good
tough question. Yeah, there's no way to know.
Yeah, there's no way to know. If I had to venture a guess, I would say no. And the reason why I believe that personally is because I firmly believe that the valley can teach you things that the mountaintops can't.
There you go.
And
that's good. I like that.
And it's 100. It's fact, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, look at it in any arena of life. When you have struggles in your relationships, right? Those differences, those struggles, teach you things that help you to improve and recreate and it's just a way to adapt and become better, right?
Yeah.
So
you learn and grow through adversity most of the time.
Yes.
Not when you're riding high.
That's right.
It's usually the struggles that mold you and toughen you.
Yes. Right? 100%. Yeah. And another, kind of point that I could kind of bounce off of that overarching theme is, man, I feel if I lost everything, if I lost everything again, that I would be okay, because I've been at a season in my life where I had nothing.
You've been in that valley.
I've been there.
And you know how to get out of it.
And I know how to get. I know the roadmap, which is exactly what this book is about. I know the roadmap. I know the way, right? So I feel if I lost everything all over again in life and had to start over where I did when I was coming out of my addiction, I'd be okay. I would be okay. And my mission in writing this book was to help anybody, really, because not only is this book a roadmap for people that have suffered from substance abuse, but people that have suffered from anything.
Yeah.
Could be you come out of a broken relationship. It could be that you tried something and failed and now you feel hopeless.
It's adversity in general.
Adversity in general.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what category, does not matter.
Yeah.
This book, to me, was a way to provide a roadmap for those type of individuals. And it doesn't matter your gender, creed, background, does not matter. This book can help you in doing that. And that was my motivation for writing it. I needed to get that off of my chest,
Therapeutic. It's therapy for you.
Very much
to
so.
some degree.
Yeah.
Right. How long did it take you to write this book?
That's another good question. So the broad answer is cognitively about a year. Once I had decided, again, the power of choice and decision, that I was going to go all in and get it done, it took me about 90 days.
Okay.
From cover to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know why you're doing all this. Now, what are you up to now?
Yeah.
Where are you headed?
Yes. So fast forward. So just over a year ago, wrote my book. I became an Amazon best-selling author. And in the couple of years prior and leading up to about a couple of months ago, I was coaching, did some consulting, and really learning the elements of prosperity on this side of the equation, right? So I love business, I love marketing and advertising and sales, and I love, in pursuit of all of the ambitions and dreams and desires that I had in my heart, one of which was to become a success, right? To leverage my background, to leverage those things that I went through and use that as fuel to become something of substance, something significant, where I could deliver value to the world and help other people in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, to me, that looked like maybe helping other people that have been through similar things as me. Then it morphed into more of the professional business building, entrepreneurship world, where now I'm helping other people literally escape the proverbial rat race and achieve something of significance, because it was what I was able to do. And for me, it started very small with a handful of coaching clients, and then it was consulting clients, and then it was writing a book about it. And then today it's morphed into, which is what I mentioned before, which is why it's such
when
good
we first
timing.
started. Yeah.
So I just launched a new company, and it's called the Alpha Dad Company.
Okay.
And I'm a parent now. I have a 9-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy. And my 9-year-old is my bonus daughter from my first relationship.
Sure.
And I have her full time.
Yeah.
And I have a 4-year-old boy. And parenting has been the greatest gift that I have ever been given. Oh man, it's just there's nothing that even compares to it. So my thinking was, after my son was born, how can I leverage that passion, that love of parenting, and marry that to entrepreneurship and the pursuit of prosperity and health, wealth, relationships? And birthed out of that ideology was the Alpha Dad Company. And the Alpha Dad Company exists for one reason and one reason alone, and that is to help dads, parents, because I also encourage moms. I love to work with couples that are parents that want to escape the antiquated model of living, which is to go to a brick and mortar 9 to 5, waste their life away, come home, get 2 hours with their kids, go to bed, and do it all over the next day. So now, in the process of creating my coaching company, my consulting company, in the process of becoming an author and creating a business around my book, learning the elements of how to run a business, lead acquisition, marketing, advertising, all of those things. Once I found the model that works, once I found the answer, I wanted to give it to everybody. So I needed to find a way to do that, a vehicle to do that. And in doing so, I created the Alpha Dad Company, which is the shirt that you see.
Okay. That's your shirt. That's your logo.
This is my logo. Yeah. This is the very first logo.
So is it a consulting company? Are you consulting with people?
To an extent. Yeah. Okay. I would say that's one portion of it.
But the product is you.
No.
Okay.
So yes and no.
Okay.
So yes. So there's 3 elements to the Alpha Dad Company. Okay. There's the major 3 is what I like to call them, and that is the avenues or verticals that are most prominent in society today, which is health, wealth, and relationships. Mm-hmm. Any of those 3 verticals, most successful businesses, mm-hmm. right? So the Alpha Dad Company implements all 3. There's an Alpha Dad protocol, but it starts with health. Okay. Right? So there's an Alpha Dad protocol. And again, I just can't stress enough, it is not just for men. I focus on men because I'm a man, mm-hmm. and I resonate with men very well. But my fiance is also kind of in the fold here, and I love working with couples. So parents, right? Because the driving force is that you just can't, the driving force is, I can't even articulate it, but the driving force is the passion and the drive that you have as a parent to give your kids a life that you could never have, a life that you never had maybe, or a life that you've only ever dreamed of, right? And today we live in the greatest time in the history of the world to build wealth, to really create something of significance, right? In the old days, you had to buy advertising on a newspaper and wait weeks to get it on there, and then pray that some people call the phone number. Yeah. Today, you can just
I can write an ad right now and have it done in 20 minutes.
Insane,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, we live in the greatest time in the history of man to be able to build something.
I mean, if you think about it, we're sitting here in this room with Camille over there doing technical stuff, and we're having a conversation, and we're going to put it on video. We're going to, we'll put it out there. And I mean, you wouldn't have heard it 5 years ago. I don't know, 10 years ago. Nothing happened. I mean, other than radio or TV. Now there's all these mediums, there's all these platforms that the average guy can get on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's, with that being said, that's not easy either.
No, I mean,
that's easy in life.
Yeah, it's not, absolutely. And it takes a lot of hard work and resilience and grit. And, I had a lot of failures in my journey, and I will have many more failures.
Yeah, you have to fail your way to success.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the best way that you learn and iterate, right?
Yeah.
You learn and iterate. But
you never stop trying.
Never stop.
Because everyone's going to fail.
You're going to fail.
It's just part of the process.
Yeah. The next 5 years,
mm-hmm.
the next 10 years are going to pass either way.
Yeah.
You're going to continue doing the same thing that you're doing, something that potentially is not working for you
mm-hmm.
for 5-10 years, or try something else.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Modify your approach, your strategy. What is it that you're doing? And try something new, right?
Yeah.
To be unafraid to fail. Failure is the bridge between what you want and achieving what you want. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but back to your original question. So, so I have the health vertical, which is the Alpha Dad protocol. Health first, right? Health is the original.
You need health or nothing else works.
That's it.
Right? If you're sick, you can't do anything.
You can't. That's it. And then secondary vertical is wealth. And I have a whole approach there that's centered around building a business that works for you. And married to that particular vertical is some products and services that are universal, that in business, if you attach yourself to a proven product, a proven service, you have a vehicle now to scale, right, and to grow. So there's some elements there. I won't go into too much detail.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even formally launched yet. So
that was my next question. Is like it's in its infancy.
It's in its infancy.
You're just developing.
2 weeks old.
Okay. All right.
2 weeks old. Yeah. So I mean, the as far as the business is concerned, the crystallization is there. Like, I mean, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So getting all of the technological aspects behind it, like for example, the alphadadcompany.com website is currently under construction.
Gotcha.
So it is in its infancy. Yes.
Sure.
But the overarching theme, the ideology, the guts are all there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the build out phase right now.
You're starting out. And
yeah.
You're gonna massage it here, massage it there, massage it there, and adjust it a little bit. Yeah, it's business.
Absolutely.
It's just the way it is.
Yep.
These were 2 cubicles that we turned into a whatever you want to call this, a studio or something, right?
Yeah.
So you're always going to be adjusting. You're always going to be growing.
Yeah.
So that's exciting stuff.
Yeah. So primary aim, chief aim, primary objective, to change an entire generation.
Which generation?
That's a great question. So the kids. So the next generation. So
your kids, like your kids' generation.
My kids.
Okay.
All of our clients' kids. Alpha in the Webster Dictionary, believe it may be the third. Don't quote me on this, but it's the third definition is the brightest star in a constellation.
Okay. Wow.
A star. Yeah. Among stars. I want to be and am a leader of leaders, right? So the best leaders develop leaders, right? So the Alpha Dad Company exists to help parents become the type of leaders that will raise up a generation of winners, of people that are going to lead the way, of people that are going to have the right ethics, the right morals, the right strength to be able to contribute to this world. And brass tacks, you can't do that if you're sick, broken, defeated. And so our chief aim is to literally change an entire generation by helping the parents. I call it Operation Liberation, by helping the parents shed the old way of doing things and be at home with their kids more, achieve a level of financial freedom, right? Get their body right, make sure they're healthy and delivering the correct image, the example to their kids, right? And because they're going to absorb all that, they're sponges, right? So all of these elements, like at the end of the day, yes, it's about moms and dads, but it's really about the next generation, because those mom and dads, the changes that they make and implement with the Alpha Dad Company are going to affect the entire next generation by affecting their kids, right? And we're going to morph into some things and some like getaway features and things like that include the whole family.
So let me ask you a question. I don't want to pick on any particular generation, and I'm not an expert in this field at all. But do you feel like the generation that's coming up, and then maybe, do you feel that they're a little too soft? Do you feel like they're not prepared for the world? And this is the business idea to kind of change that? What do you think of the generation? I don't want to get into politics.
That's okay. That's a good question.
Let's we're so worried about say pronouns, shit, excuse my language, shit like that.
Yeah.
And and I know that's important to some people, but I mean, you got to eat, you got to produce money, you got to have, there's so much more important. Yeah. Do you feel like some of the generation, younger generation now they need to be, and we all need improving, but you know what I'm saying? Are you trying to change them? Are you trying to make them better, stronger, faster?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to go there.
Let's go there. So let's go there. Let's go there.
Yes, 100%. This is my attempt to leave a signature on the world by reinstituting. And let me rewind a little bit. It's my belief, my conviction, that there is a concerted, organized effort to completely dismantle and destroy the family unit in today's sociological landscape.
I don't know if there's a grand plan by these guys up at the top of the pyramid, but it seems to be the case. I mean, you just look at the media, you look at
context clues. It's all there.
Movies, you look at everything, and it's like, and as the family unit breaks up, it just more problems happen. You know, I mean, I think there's a lot. I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, the data's there. Yeah. The data's there. Yeah. I mean, we could go in depth into that. We won't go there because that's a little.
Camille and I actually have these conversations.
The data's there. The data's there, and if you exercise critical thinking skills and really look at the evidence on a broad scale, the context clues, it's all there. I mean, it's all there. There is an organized effort to dismantle the family unit, and in addition, more specifically, there is a very strong effort to eliminate masculinity from society. There's an attack on men.
You listen to Andrew Tate, don't you? Do you listen to Andrew Tate?
I listen to some Andrew Tate.
He says a lot of the same stuff.
It's fact.
And I know that, he's very polarizing and he's, whatever. But he does say some very good things. Yeah. And he's right. And it's very similar. It's like, men they're losing their masculinity. Yeah. We're not allowed to be men anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or we're allowed to be men, but we're frowned upon by being a man. But when shit hits the fan and people go to war, it's the men that go and fight.
Exactly right.
It's, you know what I mean? When there's a problem, guy who comes through the door with a gun, it's the men that are going to stand up. You want that man there, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And in this model, the Alpha Dad Company business model, I was always taught growing up, the man is to be the priest, the provider, and the protector of the family. That's what this business is about, right? So ultimately, if I focus in on men, again, we work with both parents, but we're focusing on men. That's what it's all about. Yeah. You are the priest, the provider, and the protector. We're spiritual beings having an earthly experience, and you lead your family spiritually, right? Secondarily, you're the provider, right? You're the ultimate provider. Now, I'm not sexist, and I believe that women can make more money than men, right? Sure. And in certain,
quite often they're better than men in a lot of jobs.
Smarter, women are clearly smarter than us. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
So, I mean, I do not negate that. Nonetheless, the male traditionally, right, as the head of the family is the provider, right? Sure. Now that has changed and adapted over the years,
which is okay,
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that men are still responsible to be sure that their family is provided for, right? And now there's a marriage of interest between men and women, clearly, right? Husband and wife. No problem with that whatsoever. Again, I'm not negating that fact. I love that we have given women more rights, more
Sure.
freedom to
Yeah.
be able to pursue things and achieve the same
Yeah.
level of success as men, right? Because
Yeah.
there was a time in history when that was not the case.
Sure. Sure.
Nonetheless, as men, priest, provider, and protector,
Mhm.
right? So how are you going to protect your family if
If things go wrong,
if things go wrong?
Yeah,
How are you
yeah.
going to, if
you need to be healthy.
gosh, you're eating double cheeseburgers all day and like sitting on the couch and watching Netflix, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very, very, very difficult to position yourself to be able to protect your family should something go terribly wrong
Sure.
in today's society, unless it's a point of focus.
Yeah.
And
I love this idea. I think it's fabulous
thank you.
because there's such a wave in the other direction.
It is.
And I love guys like you that are they're fighting that wave and trying to I don't want to get into religion either, but I also believe that like whoever's whoever's running the world to some degree seems like they don't want religion in our lives either. They're just kind of pushing making religion go away,
Yeah.
And I'm not an overly religious guy, obviously, but I do believe that there's a lot of benefits to religion and being spiritual and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And,
If nothing else, just for mere ethics.
Sure.
Right.
Values.
Yeah. It gives us a
do
frame
the right thing.
Right. Gives us a frame of reference
Yeah.
as a species. Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I mean, in my book, I
Be
write
a
about a
good
lot about
person, essentially.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I agree 100%. I firmly believe that there is an attack on modern civilization, and this is wide, to morph us into something a little bit different than what we're used to.
Let's go a little deeper. Why do you think that they're doing that? Is it to make us more subservient, to make us more controllable?
Yes.
You think that's the issue?
100%.
We're stronger men. We're tougher. We're healthy. We're providers. We're priests. That makes it harder for them to control us.
Yeah. If you want to destroy a civilization from within, you take away the warriors first, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
you take away the counterinsurgency, right? Which is the men.
Yeah.
So you put crap in food that's going to elevate their estrogen levels, and you attack their ideology. And
totally
oh gosh, we could go for days about this.
Yeah.
So yes, and it's not a secret anymore.
No.
I think a lot of people live in fear about talking about this stuff because there was such a tremendous effort by the powers that be to stigmatize this particular way of thinking and put you in a box known as what they would call a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, sure.
So, and in doing so, many people fear being put in that box because of the consequences.
Yeah, we don't want to be ridiculed, but to be honest with you, a lot of the conspiracy theories, especially after COVID, during COVID, they're true. You know what I mean?
100%.
And so, we have an agent right now, Christina. You met her. She's big into that stuff.
Yeah.
She's, so it's a, I believe everything you're saying.
Yeah. The beauty is that there's such a massive awakening taking place right now.
And you're trying to, I don't want to say profit off of it. You're embracing it, and you are providing a good and service to help that wave.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And profit off of it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with profit.
There's nothing wrong with profit, making money, going into business. That's it. Yeah,
nothing.
Absolutely.
You're providing a value, and you're getting paid for it, and that's perfectly fine.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And and it's just it's really encouraging to see that people are waking up to this kind of stuff today.
Yeah.
And
it's exciting for you, isn't it?
It's exciting, because
this is not easy. I know you know this, but what you're doing is it's gonna be hard.
It is gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be attacked, and I'm well prepared for.
Do you think people are gonna attack you what you're doing?
To an extent, yeah,
for
sure.
So the people that, let's just hypothetical, they don't like masculinity. They think it's a bad thing. Do you think that they're going to say, "Oh, what Daniel's doing that's not right or stupid" or something like that? You think that's going to happen?
Sure. Yeah, I believe it's a fact of nature, of our very existence. For example, when the wheat grows out of the ground, the chaff also, which attempts to take the life of the wheat plant grows in equal proportion, right? It's the yin and yang
Yeah, it's yin and
principle,
yang. Sure.
right? So yeah, absolutely. As I elevate, I fully expect opposition to come in
Sure.
equal proportion to the amount of support that I will get.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you have a lot more support.
Of course. Well, what
Yeah.
makes the difference is what do you focus on?
Yeah.
Do you focus on all the people that dislike what you're doing
Yeah.
and give them power? Or do you focus on the lives that you're changing, right? The generations, the kids, the parents, all of those things. If you focus on those, you focus on life. You
Yeah.
focus on growth and prosperity.
Something positive. Nothing
Exactly.
negative.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, man.
Is your fiance on board? Is she going to work with you?
She doesn't know it yet, but she's gonna work it. She's Abby's she's a little shy when it comes to this kind of stuff. But she is a tremendously powerful spirit. And when I say that, when I met Abby, and I get emotional about it because she's her heart is incredible. Like, and if she understood the amount of power that she has, she'd be screaming off the rooftops. She's the most relational person I've ever met. The relationship that she has with her family, the way that she communicates and involves herself and cares about those people in her life just blew me out of the water. And, and that's one of the biggest reasons that made me fall in love with her. It's just like, because I'm not like that. Transparently, I'm not like that. I grew up, my dad is a very conservative person, very, very, I wouldn't call him quiet, but, not exactly outspoken, strong, silent type, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I think I absorbed a lot of those characteristics in my younger years, and I've grown out of it quite a bit, but gosh, she's something else. And so, yeah, she's definitely going to get involved in it. I think it's going to take a little bit of encouragement and coaching her up a little bit and helping her, kind of take the veils off of her eyes and help her to see the power that she really has as an individual and the value that she can deliver to the marketplace. Mm-hmm. It's there, I mean, she's very successful in her current endeavor. She's like a regional property manager, and she does well for herself.
Yeah.
But golly, she's capable of so much more. So I have ultimately I have intentions of she's going to partner with me in this.
Okay.
And, because she'll be able to speak to women, moms, in such a way that I will never be able to, right? Because she's a woman. Mm-hmm. And it's just gonna give so much more power to our business model and to our mission and to what the effect that we want to have on the world.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah, that was awesome, man.
My pleasure, man.
Good. I'm rooting for you, man, because I love what you're doing. I think it's fabulous. I love this wave of going back to being a man again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. And I think you're onto something. I don't know how. I mean, how to profit from it. I think you obviously have an idea, but I think there's a lot of people out, and maybe they're not vocal about it. I think they're going to support you too. I think there's a lot of support going in that direction for a lot of people, and I love to see that. But a lot of people are tight-lipped about it because they're like, I don't want to be labeled as one of those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you'll get a tremendous amount of support.
I appreciate it.